Somebody say hello to a friend quietly. Stay muted as we walk into our space, as we come into this Zoom space together. A lot of times I just go with the spirit, and when I come in here in the morning, I want to share that spirit with you today. I got my sage burning. I'm feeling blessed with instruments. I'm just feeling blessed for another day. So I just want us to release, relax, say hello to everyone, and we'll vibe out for our opening song. This is called Offering. This is just an offering of love, offering of creativity, offering of energy.
You're muted, Kev.
I've been muted that whole time? I hope not. Was I muted that whole time?
No, you weren't muted. The vocal was way low, though.
Okay, I can turn it up. My apologies about that. I was just basically saying this is my offering of love, offering of positive energy this morning. And I know we want to get deep into the service and more blessings. So we'll pass it on, but thank you so much. And welcome to another day. I think who's next on the list?
Anthony Prado.
Brother Anthony.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Thank you, Kevin Choice. Another magical performance Really appreciate your offering of love. I really like the rhythm behind that all, everything. You dropped in and out, but we got most of it, Kev. It was, loved it. Well, good morning, everyone. Recently, I saw the movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, and every now and then I get the urge when I do announcements to look into the camera and scream, "Good morning, OCSL." But I won't. So welcome, and again, kudos to Kev. Yeah, another fantastic musical offering of love. It's more than music he gives; it's love. And a little later, we're going to hear from Jennifer Johns. So let's give them our love. So welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our lives. And we certainly have a special welcome for those of you joining us for the first time. We appreciate you connecting with us, coming onto the Zoom call with us, and participating, supporting us. We hope we're supporting you, nourishing you spiritually during this phases of lockdown and restrictions. We are still connecting. Thank you, God, for this technology. And if this is your first time on the call, we have she's the coordinator, administrative coordinator, Constance Chapman. It's kind of like our operations office manager, go-to multi-hat wearing person. And her email address is constance@oaklandcsl, that's all one word, .org, constance@oaklandcsl.org. If you want to know more about the information about the center, the stuff you see on the website you're not sure about, send her an email. So in order to maintain the sacred atmosphere of the morning, to be receptive to the message and the presentation, we're asking you something. I got muted by accident, so I don't know how that happened. I was just saying, somebody's going to mute you when you come on, and that's what happened to me. I hope, did I get everything? Something is rubbing against your mic. I've got we're hearing scratchy noises. Do you still hear scratchy noises? Am I okay? Because otherwise I'm going to switch.
You're totally fine.
I'm fine?
Yeah.
Andy? Okay. So the first announcement we want to have is we're honoring the youth and children in our community. And we have a slide for that. And we'd like you all to read it with us in your own way. We honor all our youth and children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you for being in our lives. And so it is. I have a few announcements. This coming Wednesday, joining us for our Wednesday midweek service is the amazing and enlightening Reverend Eloise Oliver. Reverend E, as she is affectionately called, is always dynamic when she gives a presentation. She is a living testament to the power of this great spiritual philosophy of science of mind. So you don't want to miss her. She delivers every time. Wednesday. Again, that information is on the website. So we're having these small groups. This is the last week to sign up for these small, they're called Sangha groups. They're both in person and by Zoom. These small spiritual groups are designed to create a space for ongoing spiritual connection and conversation, exploring our monthly themes and readings. It's great because each of our Sunday service talks about the theme, the Wednesday night service, they talk about the theme, and maybe you have thoughts and feelings and commentary which you'd like to share with other people about that. And these meetings are a perfect opportunity for that. We're kind of experimenting to see how the this group is going to be physically in each other's presence. And if some of you are concerned about, well, what about the social distancing and things like that, we have a compliant committee group, and they're going to make sure everything's in order. We're following county, state guidelines on the social distancing. They're going to meet, I believe, in the social room. So if you're concerned about, well, I don't know if I want to be, you know, you have that option. You don't have to be there, but if you're worried about if we're going to be doing anything about that, yes, we are. As I said, we've got people in of our website. Fill out a very short survey about your interest in participating in either types of group. But I want to repeat again, go to the events link on the website. It's not going to be on that first page. You kind of got to explore, navigate your way around there. Okay, then our bookstore. There we are. Our Spirit Treasure bookstore is planning a holiday clearance sale in the courtyard, socially distanced, and following all the COVID procedures like we're doing with the Sangha groups. Linda Wyman is looking for volunteers to help set up the merchandise on the patio and assist the shoppers. This is going to be the weekend of Thanksgiving weekend. It looks like the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, November 27th, 28th, 29th. Again, November 27th, 28th, 29th. If you pride yourself on your common sense, this is for you. And if again you want to volunteer, because again, like it says, we need volunteers. There is the email who to send your inquiries to bookstore@oaklandcsl.org. And again, for all of the kinds of activities happening at the center, go to the website oaklandcsl.org. If you haven't already and you want to get a weekly email newsletter from the center that Constance sends out, you can sign up again there on the website. And again, all that information is there on the website. All right, then I think the next thing we're going to be doing is reading our vision and mission statement. There we are. And again, this month we're honoring American Indian Heritage Month. So if you can repeat after me, and with muted mics, of course. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community, the world, through education, music, prayer, and play. And at this point, I have the honor of passing the spotlight over to a woman who loves to pray, and she's going to get us grounded in spirit here, because she is grounded in spirit, and that's the very ethereal looking Regina Buckwalter. Thank you. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, Anthony. It's a special day today. Every day is a special day, as we all know, because Spirit is indeed our leader, our guide, and the love that moves through us. Today is a new moon. So new moons are new beginnings. So today we can slough off the past month, feel our feet on the ground, and move forward into a brand new beginning for the holiday season. I'm so delighted to be here with you because I love to pray with you all. But first, I would like to read the reading that we have today by Ernest Holmes. Humanity, then, is the actual incarnation of universal spirit. Every man or woman is the incarnation of the original creative spirit. The incarnation of spirit in us, as us, is us. The second reading is by Gary Zukav. Choice is the engine of evolution. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously. If you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously. The power of choice is the greatest gift you have been given, second only to the gift of love, life itself. Hmm. So, as we sit in the presence of the divine, we know that we are the divine. There is absolutely no separation. God is the magical presence of love and life that moves through us as we embody the divine presence. The radiance of every single cell of our body gets to play and move and be part of the very moment called the presence. As I sit here, feeling my feet on the ground, breathing in and out, breathing from the depths of my soul out into the top of my head and beyond, touching the many universes that are here to support me. The energy of the divine moves divinely through me. And I embody that presence. And I know that God is all there is. I absolutely know because I am one with that divine presence. And that is a consciousness that is always with us. We just tap into it and we breathe and we say yes to that consciousness. Yes to God. Yes to love. Yes to that presence of goodness that is always with us, no matter what the external circumstances are. Those circumstances are always unfolding and moving us into the light as we embody and embrace that love and extend that love out into every single person we are in contact with, whether it is our immediate family or on Zoom. There are no barriers, there are no boundaries. The presence is always with us, surrounding us as we tap into it and embody it and feel it and know it unmistakably. It is a sensation of divine ecstasy, and that is God moving in us. It is a sensation of unconditional love that bathes every single cell of our body, and we celebrate that presence right here and right now. The members of this community all unite in that resonance as we know that. Ernest Holmes tells us God is all there is, and God is love, and we know it and we feel it unmistakably. It surrounds us, it envelops us. God comforts us no matter what is going on in our life. We breathe, we feel, we touch the earth, and we know, and we say, yes, yes, God is. Yes, I am. And I bless this service. I bless Sally, who was here to facilitate us, who was here to inspire us with her words and her intelligence of the divine, her connection to the divine, that one mind, one heart, and one soul. And she stands firmly knowing that God is all there is. God is goodness. God is goodness. And we say yes to that goodness. We say yes, and we stand firmly saying yes. I bless the service. I bless the musicians that have shown up. I bless the divine tech support that makes this service possible. And I just release my word, say yes, knowing the service is here. We are one. We are love. We are life. We are consciously choosing to love right here and right now. And so it is. Amen. And now, whew, we just breathe, feel, touch the earth, feel our hearts as we welcome the beloved Jennifer Johns as she sings and inspires us in love. And so it is. Amen. Go ahead, Jennifer. The stage is yours.
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why does my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home. When spirit is my portion, a common constant friend is thee. Is I in the home on the sparrow, and I know you are to me, and I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I am free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. Have a brilliant morning, you all. It is my honor to introduce the awesome, the most powerful and divine Reverend Sally Bartholomew.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jennifer Johns, Kev Choice, Regina Buckwalter, and Anthony Prado. Wow, thank you. And good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Sally Bartholomew, and I am a staff minister here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And today we get to explore the question, how engaged is God as us? We've kind of already been exploring it through the meditation and the music this morning, and we're going to keep up. This question is part of our monthly exploration of the theme, living as compassionate conduits. So today I've got a prop that I'll show you later and a story to share with you that I hope will help to illustrate the ideas of engagement and conduits. So let's start with the definition of a conduit. A conduit is a channel, person, organization that acts as a means of transmission for something, electricity, ideas, God's love. And in this case, we're talking about being channels for compassion or the good of God in the world. So let me share a story from an unknown author as an example of what it means to be a compassionate conduit. There was a student. She was a mother of 3 who was completing her college degree. The last class that she had to take was sociology. And so the teacher was absolutely inspiring. And she had all those qualities that everyone wishes every human being had been graced with. The last project of the term was called Smile. The class was asked to go out and smile at 3 people and document their reactions. So being a very friendly person herself, the student thought this would be a piece of cake. So soon after she was assigned the project, she and her husband and her youngest son went out to McDonald's for breakfast. They were standing in line waiting to be served when all of a sudden, everyone around them began to kind of back away, even her husband. She didn't move at first, and she could feel this overwhelming feeling of panic well up inside of her as she turned to see why they had moved. And as she turned around, she could smell a dirty body, and found standing beside her were two poor homeless men. Now she looked down at the shorter gentleman close to her, and he was smiling. His beautiful sky blue eyes were full of God's light as he searched her eyes for acceptance. He said, "Good day," as he counted the few coins that he'd been clutching. The second man fumbled with his hands as he stood behind his friend, and she realized that the second man was mentally challenged, and the blue-eyed gentleman was likely his guardian. Well, she felt her emotions rise, and she was holding back tears as she stood there with him. The young lady at the counter asked him, the older gentleman, what he wanted. And he said, "Coffee is all, miss." Well, because that was all that they could afford. And if you wanted to sit in this particular restaurant to warm up, you had to buy something. So they just wanted to be warm. And that is when the student started to feel it. The sense of compassion was so great that she almost reached out and embraced the little man with the blue eyes. And then she noticed all the other eyes in the restaurant were set on her, judging her every action. She smiled and asked the young lady behind the counter to give her 2 more breakfast meals on a separate tray. She paid for her stuff, and then she picked up the trays and walked around the corner to where the men had chosen as a resting spot. She put the tray on the table and laid her hand on the blue-eyed gentleman's cold hand. He looked up at her and said, "Thank you." She leaned over and said, "I did not do this for you. God is here working through me to give you hope." Well, as she went over to where her husband and her son were seated, she started to cry and realized that that day, it showed her actions showed her the light of God's sweet love works through us. She turned in her project the next week. And when the instructor read it and looked at her and asked, "May I share this with the class?" The student nodded. The instructor began to read, and that's when the woman caught an even deeper realization that we, as human beings, are part of God. We share this need to give and receive love. So in her own way, she had touched the people at McDonald's, her husband, son, instructor, and every soul who has heard this story. She graduated with one of the biggest lessons she could ever learn: unconditional love and acceptance. I love that story and the way it reveals one person's way of engaging as God in this world. So, as crazy as things have been throughout this year, 2020, right? Leading up to and including this never-ending election season, I don't know about you, but I've been going to my ATM on a regular basis. Not for money, ATM, affirmations, treatment, and meditation. And the talk title for this week, How is God Engaged as Us? Well, it reminds me of one of my favorite affirmations. God in me, as me, is me. And therefore, I am well and strong in spirit, mind, and body right here and right now. I regularly use this affirmation as a conduit to move me more fully into knowing and feeling that God is present in me and all is well. Even if I can only hold that knowing and feeling for a few minutes. It also reflects the teaching found in one of our statement of principles from What We Believe. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. And as Regina shared with us in our reading from Ernest Holmes today, it echoes this. Humanity then is the actual incarnation of the universal spirit. Every man or woman is the incarnation of the original creative spirit. The incarnation of spirit in us, as us, is us. Think about it. God, and whatever name you give it, life, love, spirit, it's living out its perfect life as us. Perfect with a capital P, meaning nothing's missing, nothing extra has been added. Perfect God, perfect being, perfect person. It, the divine, is knowing more of itself as us. And this reassures me that the way that spirit has of bringing into material expression our vision of a world that works for everyone, well, it's through us, like the woman in the story. Breathe with me now. Go ahead, open that channel of breath of the divine within yourself. As we're answering the question, how engaged is God as us? I think we need to go back to basics. And as you guys know from my teaching basic classes, going back to basics is where we need to go. And today I actually have a prop. This right here, it's a dimmer switch. It's a device that can be used to regulate the intensity of light provided by the attached lamp. And it can go along a scale of intensity from off to Broadway lights intensive. So Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen, the spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living and of the Santa Rosa Center for Spiritual Living, stated in his introduction for this week's message that whether I'm aware of it or not, I am a spiritual being. And the divine is 100% ready, willing, able, and available to express through my words, create through my actions, and love through my heart. And I would say, I control the dimmer switch. So he goes on to say that maybe we can think of a time that we were less engaged in our spiritual life? I can. I was on a corporate hamster wheel for over 20 years. And I was in that time thinking I had to do it for myself, by myself. My dimmer switch was turned in the off position most of the time. Reverend Edward continues and says, maybe we can remember a time when we turned back to that spiritual something that lives within us. And again, my yes to ministry came from the heart space of being fully engaged with spirit. My dimmer switch was in the Broadway lights position. So I'm recognizing that we're controlling that dimmer switch. He concluded by saying that when he does turn back to spirit, to his spiritual practices, the miracle of miracles is that the divine is exactly where it always was, in the same state it always was, 100% ready, willing, able, and available to flow through the channel that we open within ourselves. Yeah, we control the dimmer switch. We slide that switch and the light shines forth brighter and brighter. So engaging 100% with spirit, it doesn't mean pulling away from this crazy manifest world, right? With its unsheltered, power hungry, or challenging people to go live in a cave. No, it means stepping out in spirit, as spirit, with complete confidence that spirit is living through me, trusting in the love and the goodness of God to lead the way. God's love. I can hear the yeah buts. The world is a scary place right now. Why doesn't God do something? I get it. This through us idea, well, it might make people uncomfortable. I know it can make me feel uncomfortable at times. I mean, as Reverend Tony would say, I'm a hot mess at times. I'm not always perfect, composed, super polished, organized, or frankly, even nice sometimes. And besides that, I can find myself saying, whoa, not me. Especially when I get caught up in the drama of this world and my emotions are running high, or even when I catch some fantastic inspirations or ideas about what is mine to do in this world. Things that thrill me and get my creative juices flowing, and yet trigger my not good enough storylines. Yeah, I'm wondering if any of you can relate to that. Well, in one of her Wednesday night service talks, practitioner Constance Chapman shared a reading from Jerry Thomas. He's a Catholic mystic, and she asked us to consider the ideas that were shared in that story. And believe me, it stirred up a lot of conversation on that Wednesday night. So I encourage you to go see the YouTube video. But the idea is that in order for God, who is unlimited and knows all, to know the idea of limitation and finite existence, which is part of the all, it, the divine, had to create a being that could experience limitations through us. God is able to experience and rise above various limitations. Many we would not choose for ourselves or our loved ones. And the key is, it doesn't mean that we have to stay caught up in these limitations. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of the death, I'm not going to put my tent there, right? This is the good news. God in me, as me, is me. When I remember that my source, our source, God, Spirit, is infinite and unlimited, well, then I get to choose how much of that infinite expression of Spirit I live through, we live through our life expression. I am, we are given the right and the opportunity to expand our infinite, our finite expressions into that allness of spirit. And Ernest tells us we need not leave this world, for we may engage in all of its activities without being controlled by them. We may be in the world of affairs as masters of ourselves and our minds. So, bringing this talk to a close, maybe I'm not ready in this moment to turn the light switch back up to Broadway lights level of intensity, but I can practice, knowing that my dimmer switch is fully engaged, ready, willing, and able to be engaged by me to reveal God as me. Actually, that would make a great practice for this next week. Every time you flick the switch, check in with yourself and see, what am I? What are you thinking and feeling about God? Do you feel God's full presence in that moment? Are you thinking God is not present? Are you keeping God dimmed? How are you engaging with God as you? We don't all have to be activists and carry picket signs to engage with spirit, but we do have to smile and to do what is ours to do, slide up the switch. We just elected a president, and whether you support the winner or not, let's remember that we all chose this president through our collective consciousness. We are one. So that means in our cosmic democracy, we are connected at the subatomic level, and we're all plugged into the same source. No matter who is president or who's in our communities or in our household, let us engage in the field of love and be a light, a stand for love in all arenas. I am and will be a stand for love in this world. No matter who is listening, I am listening and I am engaged. And so it is. Thank you, beloveds. I'll invite us to go into a time of prayer. So where you are, wherever you are in this virtual world, I invite you to Gently close your eyes and focus on your heart space, allowing these words to fill you. As I turn within and recognize the one source, the one power, the one presence that is always available, 100% ready, willing, and able. It is love. It is joy. It is creativity. It is peace. It is order. It is whole, perfect, and complete in this moment. And I know that I am of it. God in me, as me, is me. And as I know this truth to be my own, I know that it is the truth of each and every beloved on this call, each and every beloved in this world. For in truth, there is God only and only God. And each of us shines forth that God essence through our lives. Oh, each of us shines through that God essence through our lives. And I am grateful for this. And I continue this prayer, speaking the prayers for our community, recognizing this month's nonprofit partner, Preside Valley Community Center, blessing them as they deliver culturally sensitive, multi-generational, community-based services focused on low-income families and seniors. And I give gratitude for our planet, Mother Earth, for her beauty and her resilience, and our increasingly mindful stewardship of her. And I bless all those who are in service to creating a world that works for everyone. I bless our youth and the youth of the world, knowing that they are guided by a loving mind and a heart of spirit. And I am knowing love and comfort and healing for all those impacted by any challenges in whatever form, including Reverend Jeff Anderson, Richard Robinson, practitioner emeritus, Barbara Tompkins and her family, Ashley Rose, Cynthia, Mary Christmas, and all those impacted by the fires, COVID, floods, and any other challenges. And I am knowing peace and comfort for those experiencing transitions in their lives. For Martin Cooper, the father of Badia Cooper and her family. For Don Rose, the uncle of Judith Roberts. And in this consciousness of love, I invite you to include your own name and the names of any of those who you'd like to include in this prayer, so that we may meet them in their hearts and ours in prayer. So as the names are added to this prayer, I simply move into a feeling of gratitude, deep and abiding gratitude for this community, for these teachings, for this life. From this place of gratitude, I turn this word over to the law, knowing that it is this universal law that says, yes, it is done as you believe. Yes, my beloved, yes. And so I simply release this word, knowing it's done in spirit and accepting it as so. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. And now we're going to move into our time of conscious giving. And I believe we have a affirmation that we'll have up on the screen here that we can say together. You can place your hand on your heart if you'd like to recall your gift and say, joyously as I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. And so it is. And if you're wondering, if you're not sure, we do have the donate button. It's out there on our website, www.oaklandcsl.org, and it's prominently there on the front page. So I encourage you to navigate yourself out there after this Zoom meeting and donate to the center. It's through your contributions that we're able to do what we do here within the Oakland Center community and out in the greater world. So thank you all. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Regina Buckwalter.
Thank you, Sally, for graciously leading us into the principles that we celebrate and live with. Lovely, lovely sermon on so many levels, and I appreciate you being here for us. I want to thank the musicians, Jennifer and Kev, for always being here for us and inspiring us with your beautiful, beautiful music. And today we are here to pray with you. Robin and I will be navigating the prayer room and helping you get your prayers answered and just be with you during this time. And now for the closing affirmations. I am and will be a stand for love in this world. No matter who is listening, I am listening and I am engaged. And so it is. Okay, now it's another wonderful selection with Kev. I just loved your earlier music. It was just so inspiring and so heartfelt. And may you continue with your music to serve us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Just want to take a deep breath and just breathe in all of the blessings, the messages, the energy. And I'm going to leave us with the instrumental version of what I like to call our closing theme, Blessed Always, because those words really do ring true and ring deep with me throughout the week. And I'm going to incorporate, I've been blessed with this instrument, this new instrument. I've been just trying different things. So I'm going to try something like I was a guitar player. But like I said, if you want to turn on your screens, smile at someone, I like to end how we start, giving a wave to someone, giving a smile to somebody. And I'm actually going on gallery view one quick. Yeah, I like to go on gallery view so I can see everybody. And we can just hum along. Thank you. Have a happy and blessed Sunday. Blessed always. Give thanks to everyone who participated today. Appreciate the words, appreciate the energy. Much love.